368. 364. 362. 362. 362. 362. 360. 360. I think that was the last one. Nope. 360. Last one. Hey guys, Sean, Leslie Silver Dummies. What you saw just there was me retesting the MCS kinetics, which are 4.6 grams, with the 8-inch LL4D 684 smooth bore. So the previous test I did with HPA was with this barrel cut down to 6 inches, so essentially removing the porting. And as you saw, it actually was the exact same velocity. So, I mean, I could do with 2 less inches here, but I wanted to retest because this is going to be what I'm moving forward with, this particular setup. The barrel may change. I only discovered last night that, well, the 8-inch actually fits very well in there, as you can see. Just sticks out the tip with just a regular thread protector on there, not with a bird cage. That was using the HomeDefense-24 on-off, which has been working flawlessly. So now I'm going to test with regulated CO2. All right, so this is a contraption here. This was Regulator was purchased from AliExpress. I'll be using a 16 gram CO2. I have a 3/8-24 adapter in here, which adapts to ASA thread. This adapter has a pierce pin on the inside. You can see there. And accepts 3/8-24 threaded cartridges. So these cartridges are available in 12 gram, 16 gram, well, I think there's even 8 gram, 20 gram, and 25 gram. They get expensive once you get above 16. So I have been testing with this already. So I've preset the dial on here. So this dial sort of, it has some tension, so it stays put once you've set it. So what I'm gonna do is just thread the regulator into the marker, like that. Now, it is preset, but it was just kind of a quick and dirty, so let's see how it does. It may need some more fine tuning to see how this CO2 performs in the M17, but my early tests, it actually did pretty well, and I was able to fire off an entire magazine. The bottle that I tested on here was 750 PSI. And the reason I was doing that first was to get a baseline. So 360, 362 is what that bottle's shooting. If I can get close to that with CO2 and, you know, shoot a whole mag of these off. So this is a 12 round that has an upgraded spring in it, so only holds 11. Because of the mag well, it'll only shoot 10. Ultimate goal, to shoot all 10 on a 16 gram safely, efficiently, and yeah, well, let's see what it does. So because it's already preset, all I gotta do is twist a puncture. Still waiting on the foamies They're in Canada somewhere, it says, on their way. Don't let the t-shirt fool you. It is cool in here today. We actually had our first dusting of snow yesterday. Oh, you know what I should show you? So, pond fresh puncture. As somebody pointed out, I can't count to 10. Each line is 100. I made that up last time, I guess. This little green window was actually, the band was a little bit wider, but it's not. So each designation there, so that's 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. Pretty simple, right? Yeah, well, let's leave over dummies. 500 PSI, according to the gauge. Oh, 344. Remember, 362 on the bottle. 334. 348. 354. And it turns out I didn't screw my 16 gram in. So now this test is flawed. 354. 356. 344. 344. 338. 326. Starting to lose a little now. 324. So it fired all 10. That was just a dry fire. Empty mag. Last ball. So 11 shots. And now I'm gonna dry fire the rest off. And that's gonna tell me if I can maybe dial this up just a little bit so that I completely deplete the CO2 on a full mag. That way, in turn, maximizing power. 12, 13, 14, but I wouldn't even count that. And that's it. 13. Let's dial it up just a smidge. And this time I'll try screwing the CO2 in completely. All right, reloaded, 4.6 gram, MCS kinetics. I have not touched the dial yet, so what I'm gonna do is just turn it, I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason, so I'm just gonna turn it that much. New 16 gram, I'll be sure to screw it in completely this time. Let's see what the pressure reads this time. So it reads almost 600. Like I said, it's kind of cool in the garage of late, and especially today. $354. And a weird one again, 272. Those are not, that ball did not travel 272 feet per second. That was faster. I don't know, that's an error of some sort from the chrono, from the CO2. I do not know. 352. 354. 352. 356. 356. 354. 344. 336. Dropping now. Last shot. Well, you see where I'm going with this, guys. It's quite impressive regulating the CO2 with this device. Oh, you know what? Before I unscrew that, let's dry fire it. See if there's any more juice left in there. So I got 13 shots on the last one. That would be 11, 12, 13. That one was like the 14th shot on the last one. So it can dial up just a little bit more. But as I was saying, pretty impressive little regulator to do that with CO2. And I know what you guys are saying, why not just leave the regulator intact? And I have touched on this before, there is a seal in there that does not like CO2. But here is something that I didn't speak about, and that is the blowing of caps. Well, a 12 gram and a 16 gram probably aren't going to cause this problem, but if you stuffed a 90 gram into the back of this and used the onboard regulator, the chances of liquid being ingested in this marker are like 100% based on the horizontal position of that 90 gram CO2. That liquid gets into your regulator and it will continue to expand, which can pop your cap because essentially you're overpressurizing, which is why there's a PRV, but we delete the PRV, so now your cap becomes your safety. So regulating a large amount of CO2 is a must, but not with this regulator. Now, when I'm satisfied with what this is doing, I will reinstall the regulator in this, but I'm not going to test it with 90 gram. As I said, I will test it with the 12 and the 16, and we'll just see how it does. But essentially, I've been through this a million times. Leaving this regulator intact, you're sacrificing volume, and that's how we get some of the power out of the M17. So it's sort of a must. One more time. Let's turn this up. Comme ça. All right. Another CO2. Marker's pretty icy cold right now. Don't know how that's gonna affect it. CO2 is in my pocket. Oh. 376. Body warmth helps. 356. Seems to be hanging in at that 356. Oh, there's a hotter one. 366. 362. Well, we're doing pretty good now. 362. 360. 358. Another one of those weird ones. Don't know what gives. 348. It seems I get one every mag. 332. And that was the last one. Okay, dry fire. So that was 11 shots. 12, 13. Can still dial it up a little bit more. Well, I think you guys get the idea. I am going to dial it one more time for this video, but I'm going to try it with a 12 gram with this new adapter that came from AliExpress. Somebody asked about it, and it's always comes up when I'm doing the searches, but it's a little bit longer. I'll show it to you in a sec here. All right, there it is. So it's 12 gram adapter. It works just like a twist to puncture, but it's got a slot cut in it, so you drop your CO2 in, tighten up till it's kind of snug, and then you just twist to puncture. So that's only 12 gram. I'm going to still turn the regulator up on this. There we go. But instead, because it's only 12 gram, there it is. We're just going to use a SMG mag. So it holds 8, shoots 7. Little thread. So I had to remove the adapter out of the rear. That way it's just straight ASA thread. I've never used this adapter, it's brand new. So we'll see what happens here. All right, well, you can see it's not quite as compact as your little stubby 16 grams sticking out the back. Let's puncture. It actually punctured really quick. That was like a quarter turn and it popped. So, and it's tight now, so I can't even, like, you can't keep tightening it. It has very aggressive threads on it, so I guess it moves in a very fast motion. All right. 12 gram. 384. What I noticed about that, there was a huge blast of CO2 out of that. $380. $370. Very consistent drop. And then there's that weird one again. I don't get it. We'll get to the bottom of that eventually. 338. 12 gram is losing fast. 292. 228. That's it. She's out. It did fire them all, but you can see obviously the disadvantages of a smaller CO2. But this quick change actually, it works. It might be something that's useful to some of you guys out there. I don't think I'm in favor of it on this particular build, but nevertheless, I mean, one other option is to use the 8-round mag and just turn this way up and get even higher velocity. Undecided at this point. That requires more trial and error, we'll call it. Yeah, this thing is money. It's kind of big. You can see with all the knobs and gauges. Now I will be on the lookout. I'm going to go search right now and try and find something more streamlined. Now, do you need the gauge? No, not really. If you have a chronograph that you can actually, tune your marker with, and a chronograph is invaluable tool to have. So I could just delete the gauge, and this knob, as I said, I could replace it just with a set screw, and I'd have to just kind of manually set it, but then it would have no snag points or anything. and it would function just as it is now, except with all the junk on the side. So I'm gonna go look and see if something like that already exists. I'm pretty sure it does, but if it doesn't, then the next time you see this, it'll probably be modified slightly. CO2 is working pretty good in this. I will say, all the latest videos you've seen me testing with this, same O-rings, guys. Drop oil in before you put your cartridge in, shouldn't have any problems for a long while. Now, if I shot like 1,000 rounds on this thing and then I was gonna use it for, you know, some sort of defensive situation, maybe I'd rebuild it and keep it in weight. That's all I got for you today, guys. Oh, I should mention, I'll just tell you about what is going on in this. I'll put the links to this regulator in the video description down below. 8-inch 684 Lapco mock suppressor. Oh yeah, and I never showed you how this thing went together either. So people hate these mock suppressors because you have to kind of tighten them on your barrel. Well, the good news is this collar that normally you would tighten on your barrel, this guy right here, it comes with these plastic sleeves, so you can size it to your barrel, and it's supposed to protect your barrel, but they always slip. Good news, that collar fits like tight like a mouse's eye, as I said in the Facebook group, over your existing barrel nut. And then you slip this collar on, tighten the Allen keys. In this case, I'm using the O-ring seal in the end. It also has adapters to go in here for different sized barrels. But then just fish it down the middle there. And tighten it on. And away you go. And apparently, Alex Less Lethal was holding out on me because he was running this setup, and when I posted last night, he's like, I got the same setup. I'm like, what? But in any case, yeah, critical situations bolt spring, link will also be down in the description. Magpul, Mo K2, Valken SMG, Magwell, version 1 bypass, so brass orifice, everything deleted, PRV delete, and yeah, that's about it. Hey guys, hope that's helpful. I'm gonna continue to work on this. Probably gonna try with some heavier balls. As you know, the heavier rounds with CO2 tend to create a little more compression, so I might see a little higher velocity. And we'll just go from there. See ya.